Now, the next topic, the next piece of this is not knowing your topic or its subtopics. That is critical to understanding and gathering literature, because your very nuanced topic may not have a lot of information if you just type in that topic in the word search. But if you learn to break down those topics into subtopics, you may find tons of articles that can help you in this search. For example, if I study something like organizational theory or organizational culture, that may yield me a lot of research. But when I break organizational culture down into subcomponent parts like working conditions, like retention, like leader-member exchange, like leadership mindfulness, personalities, like the hiring process, things like that, I can begin to start breaking down multiple topics and build an understanding of organizational culture. That's far better than just trying to do organizational culture alone, and whatever doesn't align to it, I dismiss. So think about that as you go into this. Every topic should break down into smaller topics. That's one point. Second point, if your topic is already a subtopic, you can scaffold upwards to the larger topic. And the last piece of this section is breaking down your topics increases the possibility of future research. Now, at this point, I'd like to bring in Karen, if you're available, to come in and actually give us a talk and join us. If you're still ready and willing, I'll check you out and see if you're ready to do that. We have a guest coming in on IG. I'm not certain if everyone will be able to hear if you're on other platforms, but hopefully you'll be able to.
I'm here.
Karen, how you doing? How's everything going?
Good.
All right. Glad you joined us tonight.
Yeah. I'm happy
So
to
really
be here.
quick, tell us about your research interest.
So my research interest is centered around brown and black girls in urban schools.
Okay, so let me repeat that on the other platforms. We have a guest. Her research interest is on brown and black girls. So talk a little deeper about that.
So I'm interested in seeing how they are treated as far as their academics, their social emotional health within those spaces.
Okay, so I'll repeat for everybody again. Karen is interested in how the treatment and experiences of black and brown girls as far as social emotional learning occurs or is experienced in schools. Are there any particular types of schools? Are you looking at black and brown girls in private schools and public schools and
private schools? Yeah, private school is one part. Urban public schools, another part.
Okay. So both private or independent schools and urban schools. So what it sounds like to me is that you may be comparing those experiences in those different platforms. So you'll be also researching kind of like the independent school or private school experience, and then how that experience relates to black girls and how they're taken care of. I actually had a student do her dissertation on that topic. She was studying black girl experiences in independent schools, and she actually looked at graduates of those schools as well as current students in those schools, and then parents of black girls in those schools. That's a great cross-section. That's a great experience. So it sounds to me like you're in a place where you can break your topic down into multiple pieces. Maybe ranging from talking about the independent black schoolgirl experience and things like that. And if you don't mind, I'll share with you the framework that my former doc student, who's now a professor somewhere else, has actually done with that particular topic. Awesome work, but that black girl school framework, independent school framework is what she has, and she developed that over her research. In addition to that, I'm interested in how you see social emotional learning. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
So I'm thinking more on the lines of trauma informed education, as far as keeping black girls in the school system, because the research talks about them now being pushed out of school, and
Yes.
so yes, that's kind of like what I'm thinking about as
So
far as social emotional.
excellent. Thank you for those on other platforms. What she's talking about is actually studying and understanding um, trauma-informed practices, and then the whole push out of young black girls in public schools. And that, once again, has multiple avenues by which we can begin to study. There's not a lot of, well, actually, there's a lot of scholarship out there on push out, because you can understand push out, and then push out as it relates to black girls. And then when that push out process begins, Jacqueline Jordan Irvine talks about this in one of her books, Black Students in School Failure, that you may be looking as early as the third grade,
Right.
when black girls go from being volunteers and being active in the classroom to being, and switch from that to being sassy the next year, and then begin the process of silencing black girls. So that's another important part. The whole silencing of black girls in the school experience. I believe Deborah Payne and Robin Tonett has a lot of stuff on push out, particularly in urban schools, and how that works. And this is what we're talking about: the amount of ability for you to actually find this research, break it down into subcomponent parts, because we just talked about multiple different topics that relate to the black girl experience in both independent schools and in urban settings. So
Right.
those are what we mean by being able to tease out this topic and be able to break down those subtopics, because you now have research you have to do on social emotional learning, trauma-informed experiences, school push-out. School push-out is related to black girls, so you can nuance that topic as well. And as you begin to look at push-out, you can look at retention of young girls, programs of success. So you can start finding the success stories as well, and how resiliency is brought up and things like that. Particularly as you move black girls into the middle school, because I've done some research in middle school has been traumatic experience for students. I did a research on successful educators, and all of them had a middle school experience where someone was trying to break their spirit. So those are the kinds of things that when you begin to sit down and really think about the topics that can break down, although it may seem like there's not a lot of research on black girls in trauma-informed independent schools, when you break things down, there actually is, and you begin to work that. So you have to understand those things. Now I'm going to return back to some of my notes, but Karen, as you feel need to get in, please stop me, and let's continue this conversation. When you begin to start breaking down your topic into subtopics, all you're doing is talking to people first about what they know about your topic and what's being said about your topic. There's a lot of information you get in just a conversation with people, with your professors about these topics, engaging in class about these topics. And as you get this information, begin to start noting it and begin to start breaking it down. In addition to that, as you begin to sit down with your topic, take a moment before you look and start breaking down synonyms that are associated with the terms you're using in your search. Some of your university library search, university online libraries have a thesaurus where you can begin to start breaking things down. I used to find that when I searched for school leaders, the results I got were different than when I searched for principals. Just in word search alone yield different results. So now I have to look in both. Look for school leaders and look for principals. And we can understand slightly the difference, but for me in my research, I wanted to find out the experiences of school leaders. And in my mind, I thought principals. But depending on what I put in the search, I got different results. So know the synonyms, know the connecting words, all of those things that will help you extend your ability to gather literature. If you're using that subtopic, once again, you can scaffold it upwards. Sometimes your topic is a springboard to scaffolding up. For example, Karen talked about Black girls in independent schools. Well, that's a subtopic of the Black experience in independent schools, of racial tensions in independent schools, of discriminatory practices, unwelcome environments. The independent schools have had a long history of keeping us out and finding ways to keep us out, So you can begin to start scaffolding upwards to give a history, and then also scaffolding to break down, and then find how all of these things are nuanced. So you can go in both directions. You can, if you know your topic and how it connects to the larger topics, you're good. But then also knowing how your topic connects to those subtopics, going to be really good. And once again, breaking down these topics increases your possibility for future research. I'm not just trying to get you a topic that you can last for the day or for this paper. As you're building your research agenda and you're becoming a literature expert, you are now on this journey, and these topics should last you the journey. That's how you stay immersed in a topic, rather than I did it one time, it was a passion project, I may present on it somewhere, and then I'll let it go. But it gives you kind of a long walk with this particular